In today's talk show, we're going to talk about Dr. Martin Luther King and the celebration of MLK Day.
Welcome to Ruben and Ivory's Journey in the Making.
I'm Ivory Gibson.
And I'm Ruben Gibson.
Thank you so much for joining us. And be sure to like and subscribe to our page. Just hit that little like button down below,
Please
y'all.
share it, people. Please.
All right, and so we are talking about the great Dr. Martin Luther King today.
Yes.
Dr. Martin Luther King was a social activist, and he was also a minister who played a very key role in the American civil rights movement from the mid-1950s until his assassination in 1968. In today's show, we wanted to take some time to talk about Dr. Martin Luther King, right?
Yes.
I mean, his birthday is coming up in a couple of days, and, you know, this was a man who was very instrumental, very influential in our history and getting our people, the African American people, to where we are today. And so, you know, let's dive in and talk about the great Dr. King.
Yes.
When was he born, babe?
He was born January 15, 1929.
Awesome. And so we didn't always recognize Dr. Martin Luther King's day. So you'll hear a lot of people call it MLK Day or Dr. Martin Luther King Day. It's recognized now as a federal, an actual federal holiday.
Yes.
And so what that means that it's celebrated all around the nation. And that went into effect when? Some years ago.
1983.
1983, yeah. Because it wasn't always a national holiday. And I find it very interesting just when you think back and you look at things and you recognize how things exist now, but you know, when you actually stop to do your history, you really realize like it haven't been that long. 1983, what's special about that year, babe?
That was the year I was born.
That was the year that he was born. So you said that this was a national holiday for how many years now?
Well, no, we talking about age. 30.
That put you on the spot.
37.
37 years. And so, you know, to some that might seem like a long time, but to many of us, that's not really a long time, you know. So, but, you know, you're thankful when you do find that things are moved and put into place and given its recognition the way that it needs to have its recognition. You know, just giving respect to the great man that Dr. King was. He deserves that recognition.
Every bit of it.
All around the world,
yes.
you know, and
yes.
a lot of us have learned about him in the history books and our history classes. And it's very important to know your history because we don't want things to repeat themselves, right? If you don't know it, then how are you going to prevent something from repeating itself? And so that's very, very important.
Yes.
And, you know, I do know that Dr. King, he led a very, very famous march, right? You know, so going back talking about civil rights, he had upwards from, I believe it said 200 to 300,000 people out in the street, like positive protesters who were out there advocating for civil rights, you know, those equal rights. And that was also when he actually gave that famous speech, right?
Yeah.
What was the speech?
I have a dream.
Y'all know that speech. I have a dream. It was a long speech, but it talked about so many things that he dreamed about for our people. And us just knowing and recognizing that as a people, you know, he saw better for us. It was a dream for him to see us cohesively come together as a people and
as one
and share those equal rights, which we are totally entitled to. And it's so relevant to today because of the fact that we had the Black Lives Matter movement last year. That was big, you know, Black Lives Matter, that it's been around, but the movement and just seeing the positive protesters getting out there into the streets and advocating for, you know, no racism and, you know, social justice, wanting us all to be able to receive the same things and the fair ways of life that we are entitled to and should have. You know, there shouldn't just be no one superior race or entitlement when it comes down to, you know, the human race. Like, we're all human, and no matter our skin tone, no matter our age, no matter our background, we should all be treated equally and fairly, which is so extremely important. And one of the famous quotes that Dr. King also had talked about injustice, and what it said was, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And so, you know, what does that mean? You know, you want justice, right? We want people to be treated fairly, and if for some reason they're not treated fairly, then it should be consequences for that, you know. And there was a lot of injustices that were done just in 2020 alone. I mean, a lot of stories that are out there, and it's just so sad, and it really, you know, it makes your heart feel very sad, any human person, when you just look at some of the brutality, police brutality and things like that, people taking advantage of their title and their roles to treat people any kind of way, and it's not fair, you know. And something that I know that we've talked about is just being conscious of it, right? Because sometimes we could be caught up in our own worlds, or maybe we're not exposed to racism and things like that, but it does exist, right?
Definitely exists.
I mean, would you say that you've encountered some racism over the years?
Like I say, about me being a black man, living in today's world, time that you experience it more than you should, you know. So with that being said, I got a couple examples that, you know, happened to me. And, you know, not only am I a black man, but then I still got to take on the fact that my skin is really dark. So people always don't give me the benefit of the doubt, and they always think that I'm up to no good, you know, and they always judge me before they even know what my character is, because of my skin tone and because I'm a black man. And with that being said, you know, in different situations, you gotta be able to respond and act a certain way, because you don't want it to turn out, you know, crazy, or, you know, turn out, you know, in the unexpected, I guess you can say. So you just gotta, you know,
try to help control the situation, right?
Yeah, kind of move through it, pray about it, basically, you know, move like that. I mean, that's all we really can do, you know, and go from there.
Yeah. And, you know, even with, I think, like, just talking about racism, sometimes people don't have to use words. It could be the way they look at you. It could be the way that they don't look at you and don't interact with you. Things like certain people may feel like, oh, racism doesn't exist anymore. And then you get something that happens that opens people's eyes that's like, wow. I mean, I had, you know, quite a few people just that sent different videos and things like that. And when I tell you, just looking at some of those injustices, it just made me angry just to see how poorly and how badly people were treated. And, you know, it's just like, it has to stop. It has to stop. You know, there has to be a sense of value on human life, you know, and life should not be taken for granted or abused or misused. And going back, just talking about Dr. King and just how influential and instrumental he was in our past, you know, him and a lot of other civil rights activists served our country and really, really help pull our people together.
Yes.
So that, like you said before, Bae, you could see the power in numbers. You know, just again, going back to that 200 to 300,000 people that Dr. King was able to pull together. And they were out there advocating. They were advocating for jobs. They were advocating for freedom, because, you know, they wanted to be free, a free American, which they definitely were entitled to, you know, and I think that's so very important. And just knowing that they were able to have that many people and have a peaceful protest, that's powerful. And so as a result, that following year in 1964, the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was passed. And so, you know, with that being said, it was a victory. It was a win, right? So all of their hard work and all of their efforts went noticed, and you know, it was recognized. Like it was actually seen and determined, like, we need to listen to what these people are saying. They did a march on Washington, and it was just powerful,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And so, you know, just with Dr. King, I'm so very thankful for him, and what he did and the part that he played in, you know, us having equal rights. And again, continuing on to this day, advocating and pushing for us to have those equal rights and those
Yes.
fair rights. You know, that's just so very important. And so I think that us as a people have to also constantly be reminded and know and value life, you know, and our freedom to know everyone didn't have some of the same opportunities that we have today, right? That's important. And, you know, with knowing that, it should make you value your freedom and your access that much more, when you
Yeah.
say.
For sure.
Definitely. So, Dr. King, we thank you for all you've done.
Yes.
Everyone, please make sure that you acknowledge the fact of Dr. King and all that he did for us as a people. And, you know, don't forget that. Make sure you talk with your family, your children, your friends about the influence and the impact and how powerful of a person Dr. King was. And, you know, following next month, we'll be celebrating Black History Month, y'all.
Yes.
We got to bring it. We got to acknowledge it. We got to celebrate us, because us Black people, we're powerful, we're beautiful, we're educated, we're knowledgeable. And that is just such an amazing
Strong.
thing. We're strong. Yes, definitely strong. So, again, in today's show, just talking about Dr. Martin Luther King. And, you know, his birthday is January the 15th. And so it's every third Monday of the month of January that his day is celebrated, MLK Day. And so this year, that's January the 18th, Monday, January 18th,
Yes.
MLK Day.
Yes.
Federal holiday, y'all. Recognize it. So, as always, we thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like and
And
subscribe.
share, please share.
Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like this video, and make sure that you share this video as well.
Yes.
Again, we are on Facebook and Instagram. Please be sure to also like and follow us there. Again, that's Talk Show Ruben and Ivory, Journey in the Making. Take care. Until next time, guys.